What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J. We're locked in. This is episode 7 of the Underground Railroad, Fanny Briggs. Now, the end of Tennessee Proverbs, we see Mac made the fatal mistake of letting the enemy have a second opportunity to do whatever they want, and he ended up getting killed by Little Homer. Now, Little Homer is very, very loyal, and we already know that. But before we get into this episode, we got to do the YouTube stuff. Shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of this, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. We on the road to 6,000 subscribers. I really appreciate you all rocking with me and working with me, taking this time. Next series that I do, if it all drops, I'm going to try to have it done within 3 days. I just got a lot on my plate. But thank you guys, and I definitely appreciate all the support. Now, chapter 7, Fanny Briggs is going to take us back to the little town in Tennessee, and we get to see what actually happened to young Grace. But I'm not going to hold you up anymore. Let's jump right into it. This is episode 7, the Underground Railroad. To start the episode off, we know that the house was on fire that young Gracie was in. Remember, Gracie was in the attic. She's the young girl that was up there helping Cora go through the times that they were up there. Now, when Cora got discovered, Gracie was still in the attic. And the little Irish maid, she came over and she threw the fire at the house and it caught it on fire. So she's up here and we all thought she died, but she didn't. So what that does mean is everyone we seen in the cotton field at the beginning of the last episode, they may not all be dead, because we seen Caesar in there. Caesar was dead. We seen Jasper was on there, but at the beginning of the episode, we seen he was up, and we also seen young Gracie on there. But here she is here, and we get to figure out what actually happened to her. We see the wife Ethel still outside. If you remember, they drug Martin away. They killed Martin out by the Underground Railroad. She's sitting here. The house is on fire. In this town, you remember, they hang people up. If you're black, they're going to hang you. If you're harboring blacks, they're going to hang you. So she's still out here. The house is on fire. Everybody's running around. It's chaotic at this point. Everybody's running around. They're in the courtyard ringing the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, man, we know it's a fire. We all live right here, bro. We can see everything. But everyone's running around and they are not efficient at all. So what they're doing is one person to get a bucket and just sprint over there and try to throw the water. But they're not getting close to it. What they should do is wherever the water well is, have a line of people pumping the water and just handing the bucket down and then having a guy running it back. But they're not. So they're not going to be able to put this fire out. Let's just be honest. The fire is going on. You got some people just standing back like, man, it's a fire. Y'all better be helping. These houses are so close. Everything is going to catch on fire. But two men, they take Ethel and they drag her over by the church and they start whooping on her, stomping her, hitting her with rocks. You had some third random guy come over there like, let me get some. He punching and stuff. So they really whooping on her because they were harboring Negroes inside of their house. And we know in this town, you can't do that. I'm talking about they got rocks and they just throwing it down on. It's bad, but that's the law of the land, man. It's unfortunate, but that's the law. You got the pastor yelling, what are you standing around for? Same reason you standing around. We don't know what to do. You should be helping us. Now, if y'all look on the left side, you see how far back this man is throwing a bucket of water onto a porch that barely has any fire? Hey, if you don't get closer to that fire and put the fire out, man, you just wasting water. We seen in the beginning, Gracie's still alive. So she's actually hopping down and she's looking around like, oh man, it's a fire in here. But one thing about her, she's always been calm. From the first time we seen her and she seen Cora, no matter what was going on, she was calm. Hey, I lay over there. Don't stand on this wooden thing. I don't even know what to call it. Don't even stand on this wooden part because it creaks and stuff. So she's always been calm. That's a good thing. This young girl is good. She's smart now. Someone must have taught her this. So what she does is she takes some fabric and she wraps it around her face. Now, this isn't going to be 100% protection away from the smoke, but it will. It will do a little bit. It'd have been better if she would have had a wet one. That definitely would have worked a little bit better. She's walking around the house because she needs to figure out, how can I get out of here? But how can I get out of here and not be caught? So she goes up to the front and she sees it's all on fire. Like, this ain't the way I'm going. Plus, everybody's outside the front door. So she has to come up with a different decision of what she's going to do. And of course, why not go out the back door? White people at the front door, I'm going out the back door. She goes out there. Nothing is going on the back side of here because everyone's on the front side trying to fight this fire. So she gets up out of there, takes the mask off. We got to get up out of here. Then they give us oversight of the whole town. Everything's on fire. 1, because everything's made out of wood. 2, it's dry as hell out here. And 3, these houses are right next to each other. So if one catches on fire, the 2 on the side are gonna catch on fire. And it actually goes around the whole perimeter. So this whole town is pretty much done. Just when you think things is all right, they left that though alone. They went to go put out the fires and stuff. She makes it over to the shrine in the church, and pretty much she's just like, hey man, forgive me for everything that I've done. Oh man, please help me out. Please do something. Help me out down here. Well, it looks like that prayer went unheard because they took her out there to the welcome road and they hung her up. Now she isn't dead, but she's severely beaten. She's just up there hanging till she gets her last breath. So they ain't playing around about this. Now they don't have a town or a village anymore, and there's still a lot of people out on this road into the town. But they ain't playing around. When they say this is the law, that's the law. Grace, she walked all the way from the town back to where the Underground Railroad was. Now we know Martin blew it up, and we also know Martin got killed outside of here. When she gets there, Martin's body is still there. He's laying on the ground dead. So she's touching on his head, and she's just thinking back about when he came and got her, saved her, took her to the house, and took care of her in there. Because at this point, Martin is the only good white person she knows. We know Ethel, she was all right, but she didn't really care for blacks as much as Martin did. Because why? Martin was the train stop master. You know, he's the guy that kept all the documents and things. So for her, Martin was like the only person that she could trust outside of Cora. So she goes on up there. We know there's an entrance to it, even though it's blown up. We remember Homer got in there. There's a little hole that somebody smaller could get into. So of course she can fit down there. Once she gets down there, she sees how destroyed everything is. She's looking around like, this isn't how it was when I got here. There was an actual train track and it went all the way through. So she's just looking around, and she turns around and she actually finds the ledger that has everyone's name. It's keeping all the documentation of who comes in through the train station. She looks through the log. She sees some stuff in there. Now she's carrying it over to where the end of the track was. You remember when Cora got there was a barricade where they had blew down the tunnel for the most part so the train couldn't go through. When she gets over there, she leaves the ledger on the ground. So she's not taking it with her. But what she does do is climb to the top, and she goes through the rocks to the other side of the train track. Once she gets to the other side, she has the little lantern with her, and she looks forward, and she sees it looks like a caboose to a train, and it's got the lights on, so that means it must be active now unless somebody left it there. So of course she doesn't have anywhere else to go, so she has to go over there and see what's on the train, because this train might be able to take her to the next stop. Once Gracie gets on the train, there's a lady on here named May. Now May, she's keeping the logs and all the testimonies of whoever uses the train from this side. Now, you know, you have the station master that writes down who's getting on and off the train, and you gotta have that documentation. But also on the train, they're keeping documentation of it too. And this lady's name is May, and she's gonna be the one helping Gracie. I know I'm calling her Gracie. Her name is Grace. I just like Gracie. But she gets on here and she's straight to the point, like, when are we leaving? Does this train work? Yeah. And old May's like, I hope it worked, because she understands the kids just getting on here. Wherever she's coming from, she's by herself, and they're not expecting anybody to be on this train. There's no list saying, hey, we got a little girl coming. She shows up by herself, and of course, an older woman, she's going to make sure that this child is good. So she's just letting the kid express herself, and then she's going to say, hey, we need to get your testimony. Grace begins to give her testimony. She's saying, I was at the North Carolina train station. May says, yeah, we closed that thing down. She like, I know, I had to climb through those rocks to get here. But she starts to go into detail about Martin and how Martin gave her the name Grace and Martin was looking out for her. So she's saying, oh, Martin gave you the name Grace? She's like, yeah, but I have a real name though. And the name her mama gave her was Fanny Briggs. Now, Fanny Briggs is the name of this episode, chapter 7, Fanny Briggs. So we call her Grace, but her name is Fanny. Now, May, she writes down the testimony. She leaves the book and she tells Grace, just sit back, relax, eat that biscuit. If I was Grace, I'm like, damn, a biscuit? Whew, it's sure better than that slop we was getting up in Martin's house. I'm about to tear this thing up. But shoot, it's a better start than nothing. May's like, take care of that biscuit. And where do you want to go? And Grace looks at her and says, wherever Miss Cora went. She's like, Cora? And Grace doesn't know anything else about her. And May's just like, I understand. You'll tell me more when the time comes. Because she knows, just eat, kid, and we'll figure that out once we get rolling. May leaves. They get the engine running. Woo, woo. Well, they don't do the horn because they up on the ground. They trying to make as less noise as possible. But Grace, Fanny Briggs, starts writing a little bit more in there. I have a story to tell. She's probably going to tell the story about how she met Cora and how they took Cora from about the house. That's just what I'm thinking. All aboard and the train starts to roll out. We on our way, Fanny. We are on our way to find where Miss Cora went. There you go, episode 7. I don't know why they gave us this short of an episode. They probably could have put this at the end of last episode, but they gave it to us only like 20 minutes. That's episode 7. Let me know what you think. You think Fanny's a survivor? She got about that house that was on fire. She wrapped her face up. Let me know what you think about young Fanny, aka Grace. I'm Mo.J. Thanks for watching. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.